Hi, I'm John and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing y'all just how simple and how easy it is to double fractions. What does that mean? Doubling a fraction is taking one fraction and adding it to itself. So basically you're just doubling that fraction. I'm going to show y'all how easy it is, but before I get into it, if you don't know what fractions are, or you don't understand how they work, please watch my video that I posted before this one. I show just how simple and easy it is to understand fractions, how they work, and how to cut them in half. Now, again, in this video, I'm going to be showing you how easy and simple it is to double them. All right, we're back in front of the whiteboard. As you can see, I have two lines here, one in black, one in brown, and this is hopefully so that y'all can visualize and keep up with what I'm doing. Once you start practicing this, you should be able to get to where you can do it in your head, because this is very simple and very easy to do. All right, so let's get into it. Let's start with half or less than half, okay? So let's start with fractions that are half or less than half. All right, and there's a reason for this. So let's start with half. Let's say we want to double half, right? We want to double our half. Well, that's simple. We have 1 over 2. To double it, we can just put 2 over 2, which equals 1. That gives us our whole. Right? Right? All right. 3/8. Let's go to 3/8. Right? Let's take 3/8. How can we double 3/8? We can double it by saying 6 over 8. We can double that top number. Double that top number. We now have 6 over 8. What's that equal to? 6/8. 6/8 is equal to 3/4. So we take 3/8, we double that top number, we have 6/8. 6/8 is equal to 3/4. Are y'all keeping up? This is how simple it is to double fractions. Now this is half and smaller, okay, that I'm starting with here. All right, and there's a reason. Just bear with me. Now we have 1/4. How can we double that? Well, we have 1/4 here and we have 1/4 there, right? We're adding them, right? We have 2/4, right? What's 2/4? It's equal to half. It's half, right? Now, if you didn't watch my previous video, please go back and watch. It's very important to know what fractions are and to understand them and how they work before you go too far into this one. Now you understand how fractions half and smaller double. Now we're going to go into fractions half or larger than half. Okay? Fractions that are larger than half, when you double them, they're always going to have a mixed number as their answer. What is a mixed number? If you don't know what a mixed number is any whole number with a fraction beside it. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Those are all whole numbers. If I was to say 12 3/4, that would be a mixed number, because then that would be 12 3/4. Right? So, now that you know, any fraction larger than half is going to have a mixed number. The mixed number is always going to be a 1. Your whole number is always going to be a 1 on your fractions if they're larger, okay? So let's take 5/8 for example. Let's double 5/8. What does that mean? Again, that's 5/8 plus 5/8, right? Now we can say 10/8, right? just like we were doing with these other fractions down here, and have ourselves an improper fraction, and then go through the process of doing all the dividing and everything like they show in school, right? But I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. All you have to remember is, if it's larger than half, your answer is going to automatically have a 1 as its whole number, right? Let's see if that's showing up on that top part of the... Yeah, it's showing up here. I want to make sure y'all can see that. I may be writing a little too high. I'm using my cell phone for this. I'm just getting started on YouTube, so give me a break here. All right, so it's going to have a 1 as its whole number. 5/8 plus 5/8. Why? Because it's bigger than half. It's larger. 2 halves may equal a 1, right? So if it's larger than half, you automatically know it's going to have a 1 as its whole number. So if we take this half and this half and we add them together, we got our whole. How many eighths are we left with here? We're left with 1/8 here and 1/8 here, right? That's 2/8. So our answer is going to be 1 2/8 when we double 5/8. So 1 2/8, that's the same answer as 1 1/4. Right? That's the same answer. They're just written differently, right? Now, let's do 3/4. Let's do 3/4 here, all right? Let's double 3/4. We have 3/4 here and 3/4 here. We want to add them together, right? Well, we know they're bigger than half, right? We have a half here and a half here, all right? So if we take these 2 halves and we add them together, we got 1 as our whole number again. Now, how many quarters are we left here? We're left with 1 here, and we're left with 1/4 here. So that's 2/4 that we have there, right? That means our answer is 1 1/2. Same answer, just written differently, right? If you can remember, again, if you can remember any fraction that's larger than half, you're automatically going to have 1. All you have to do is think, okay, I'm doubling, so I'm adding the same fraction. So if I take half away, how much am I left with? Then I double that, right? So you double your half, and then you double that, and that's your answer. Let me do this again. Let me show you. All right. Once again, let's do 16ths. Let's do 5/16. We're gonna do 5/16. We're gonna put 5/16 is gonna be right here. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry. Nope. That's smaller than half. 5/16 is smaller than half. How do we know? Because 8's half of 16, right? So this would have to be 9/16. 5/16 would be over here. 2, 4, 5. That would be 6/16, 7/16, 8/16. 8/16 is right here. How do we know? Because 8's half of 16. So 9/16. Let's go with 9/16. 9/16 plus 9/16. We're going to double, right? We're doubling it. Now, look, I'm going to show you something. Fractions work off of 2's, all right? It takes 2/16 to make an 1/8. It takes 2/8 to make a 1/4. And it takes 2/4 to make a 1/2. And it takes 2 halves to make a whole. Okay, let me do that again. 2/16 equals an 1/8. 2/8 equals a 1/4. 2/4 equal a 1/2. 2 halves equal a whole. It just works off of 2's. So if we have 9/16, that means we have 9 of the 16 pieces, right? So how do we double this? Well, we can say 18 over 16 and go through it like that. Or we can just say, okay, well, I have half plus half. That's 1. How many 16ths am I left with? How many 16ths am I left with? I'm left with 1/16 here and 1/16 here. So that's 2/16 that I'm left with. So what's my answer? My answer is 1 2/16 or 1 1/8. Let's do okay, well, let's do 7/8. All right. Let's take 7/8 for example. We have 7/8 here and we have 7/8 here. They're both larger than half. They're actually 1/8 shy of a whole, 8/8. So we are 4/8 right there. That's half, right? Because 4 is half of 8. So we want to double it. We want to add them together. We already know we have 2 halves that we can put together. That gives us our 1. So how many 8ths are we left with after that? Well, remember, it takes 2 to make a quarter, right? Remember? So we have 2/8 to get to 3/4, and then we have another 8. So that's 3 6/8, right? That we have left. Oops, 6/8. I'm sorry, 6/8. Let me fix that. I don't know why. We have okay, 7/8 plus 7/8. We have half here, 2 halves. We add them together, we get our 1. Now, how many 8ths are we left with? We're left, remember, 2 per quarter, right? It goes by 2s. So we have 2/8 to get to 3/4, and then we have another 8th. So that's 3/8 right there, and that's 3/8 right there. That's 6/8 because we have to double, right? So now our answer is 1 6/8, which is also equal to 3/4. Are y'all seeing this? They're the same number, just written differently. Let me see. Make sure y'all see this. My phone here. Yeah, y'all can see that. How about that? Any fraction larger than half is going to be a mixed number of 1 and a fraction. Again, my previous video, if the top number is half of the bottom number, it's half. Automatically, right? And it goes in 2s. 2/16. There's 1/16. There's 2/16. 2/16 equals an 8th. 4/16 is 1/4. 2/16 equals an 8. Get out of the shadow. 2/16 equals an 8. 2/16 equals a quarter. That's 4/16 total. Now you got 5/16, 6/16, 8/16. Why is 8/16 over half? Because 8's half of 16. 6/8. That's 3/4. 8ths takes 2/8 to make a quarter. 2/16 to make an 8th, 2/8 to make a quarter, 2/4 to make a half, 2 halves to make a whole. Now, let's do this. Let's do this here as well, okay? I'm going to make a little room up here, so I'm going to erase some of this, okay? So I'm going to show you something else here. All right. 2/3. 2/3 is a fraction. It works just like any other fraction, right? I didn't do 2/3 in my last video. I didn't see any need to, because it's a fraction. It works the same way as any other fraction, right? How do you double it? Well, you know 2/3 is larger than half. You know 2/3 is larger than half because you have 2 of 3 pieces, right? You have 2 of the 3 pieces. So you know it's larger than half. So to double it, you know you're going to have 1 as your whole number. Not only that, it's, again, doubling, you're adding, right? So you're adding 2/3 to 2/3. If you're at 2/3, you have 2 of the 3 pieces. How many more pieces do you need to get to a whole? You need 3/3, right? So if you take 1/3 from this 2/3 right here and add it to that, you now have 3/3, right? 3/3, right? Here, you're left with 1/3. So what's your answer? 1 1/3. Does that make sense? Let me do that again, just to make sure. You have 2/3. You want to double it. That means adding it to itself, right? How many thirds do you need to get to a whole? You need 1 more third to get to a whole, because you got to have 3/3, right? So if you take one of your thirds from here and add it to here, you have your whole. Now how many do you have left over here? Since you took one away, you have 1. So your answer is 1 1/3. It's simple. It's easy. So if you practice this, you can watch my video, you can pause it. You can watch it as many times as you want. You can pause it however long you need to, right? But if you practice this, you can get to where you can do it in your head. Helps with baking and cooking and stuff like that when you're doing measurements for cooking. You know, if you want to double your recipe, right? Or you want, if you watch my other video where I show you how to cut fractions in half, that helps you with cutting your recipes in half, right? If you don't want to cook a huge batch of cookies and you want to cut that batch in half, well, you can cut your fractions in half real quick and easy, right? Same with doubling your meals, right? Or your cookie dough. If you want to double it, right? This makes it easy. You don't have to go through all that calculating crap, right? That's what I like to call it. Less than half. If it's half, it's a whole. Half doubled is a whole. We know that, right? 50 cents plus 50 cents equals $1, right? So if it's less than a half, your answer is going to be a fraction. If it's larger than half, your answer is going to be a mixed number, right? Again, 1/4 doubled equals 2/4, which is half. All right? Anything larger, 9/16 plus 9/16. You can do, like I said, you can do it the long way, or you can do it the easy way. You automatically know your answer is going to be a mixed number. It's going to have 1. You take that half and add that half. You add the 2 halves together, you get 1. How many 16ths are you left with? Well, you're left with 1/16 from this one and 1/16 from this one. That means you have 2 16ths. That means you have 1 2/16, which is also 1 1/8. All right. So here's another way to do this. Doubling fractions, right? 3/4. Let's do 3/4. This is another way to do it. You just seen me do it with the 2/3. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with the other fractions. All right? You're doubling. That means you're adding the same fraction to itself, right? If you take 1/4 from this 3/4 here, that leaves you with 2/4. You add that 1/4 you took from there to this, and you have 4/4, right? 4/4 equals 1, right? Now how many quarters are you left with? 2, which is also 1 1/2. Right? You can do that with any one of these fractions that are larger than half, right? As long as it's larger than half, right? You can do that, like 2/3. Just like same way as doing it with 2/3. 5/8, you can do 5/8 the same way, right? Do a quick example here. 5/8 plus 5/8, right? You're doubling it. Let's see if y'all can do this real quick. Pause this real quick. See if y'all can do it. and then see if you get the same answer I get, right? We take, how many more do we need to get to 8, right? We got to have 8 over 8, right? We're going to have 1, right? So we need 3 more. So we have to subtract 3 8s from here, which would leave us with 2 8s, right? Now we can have 8 over 8, which is 1. And now we have 2 8s left. What's 1 2 8? It's also 1 1/4, right? We have 5 8s plus 5 8. If we take 3 from 5, we have 2. So we take 3 from here, we have 2 8s left over. We add them 3 8s over here. 5 plus 3 equals 8. That gives us 8 over 8, which gives us our whole. And then we have 2 8s left to add on. We have 1 and 2 8s, which is also 1 1/4. There we go. All right. Join me in next week's video when I show you just how simple and easy it is to subtract 2 different types of fractions from one another, such as subtracting 1/4 from 5 8 or 5/16 from 3/4. I'll show you how quick and easy and simple it is to do that in next week's video, so don't miss out. Well, I hope you liked and enjoyed that video, and if you did, please hit the like, subscribe, and share and notification bell. It would help me out greatly. And remember, knowledge is a good thing. Truth in knowledge is an even better thing. And true knowledge, that's power.